Sugar is one of the most addictive substances on the planet, and just like kicking a homeless person, once you start, you just can't stop. But what is sugar? Sugar is when a glucose molecule decides to stick it in a fructose molecule, causing it to have a butt baby of sucrose. Sucrose is a simple carbohydrate, not to be confused with complex carbohydrates. You see, most people would typically group all carbs together, when they're really quite different. Simple carbs are like basic ditties. They'll give you a quick dopamine rush, and then immediately ask for a handbag. Complex carbs are like your friend's stepmom. They won't be quick, but you'd be surprised of how long they last. Sugar comes from sugar cane or sugar beets and was originally brought to America by Christopher Columbus. Columbus, that white devil, thought, I have the sugar cane, but no slaves to grow it for me. What to do? I got it. Grow it for me, boy! And boy did he. Those slaves were used to cultivate sugar, which turned into rum, which turned into money, which turned into more slaves, which turned into, you guessed it, more sugar. And over the next couple hundred years, people realized they could add sugar to things like coffee, tea, and chocolate to make it taste better, which led to the first advertisement of Folgers. Taste the suffering. Eventually, research started to come out linking sugar to adverse health effects, but getting rid of it would affect a lot of companies' bottom line. So in the 1960s, some shady people paid Harvard scientists to downplay the link of sugar to heart disease and blame it on fat instead. That way, companies could still make massive profits and more people would die. It's really a win-win if you're a capitalist like me. But in 1972, some British scientist named John Yudkin decided to grow conscience and sound the alarm that sugar, not fat, was the greater danger to our health. The food industry responded appropriately by destroying Yudkin's reputation and getting his work banned, which just goes to show the free market always works. However, eventually more research came out linking sugar to an increased risk of cancer, cavities, diabetes, obesity, basically anything that makes a person unfuckable. But by this point, the damage is already done. In America, 70% of adults are overweight and 40% are obese. I don't even know how planes can get off the ground with so many pork chops out there. Guess pigs can fly. Now, in fairness, sugar isn't all bad. Your body wants about a fifth of its calories from glucose, so it's not surprising that your brain craves it. The problem is how much sugar you ingest. Like the average male only supposed to consume about 36 grams in a day. Like Bish, that's less than 1 can of Pepsi. That's for the day, let alone any other meal your fat ass is gonna scarf down. And you might think, oh well, the answer is simple. I just won't eat candy or drink soda. But spoiler alert, sugar is in almost everything. Peanut butter, tomato sauce, fucking Advil has sugar in it. And just like your pastor, companies know to get you while you're young. Breakfast cereals like Cheerios are 32% sugar, Lucky Charms 33%, Quaker Oats, oh, it has oats in it. How bad could that be? 44% sugar. How can you sell something almost 50% sugar to children and not expect some health problems? That's like bringing crystal meth cupcakes to the church bake sale being like, why are so many kids tweaking? You see, there are only about 10 companies that own all the food and drinks in the world. And not surprisingly, the sweeter something tastes, the more likely someone will buy it. My mom fell victim to this and would always buy me things high in sugar. In her mind, she was just being a good parent, not realizing she's napalming my palate. I couldn't even drink water without getting repulsed. And being a dumb kid, I didn't think I was addicted. I was just like, oh, my taste buds must be different. You like water and broccoli, I like Skittles and Pixie Sticks. We're just built different. The only time I was like, wait, something may be wrong, was when I was chilling at my homie's house. We were in the basement practicing wrestling moves on each other. You know, typical heterosexual behavior. Anyway, we eventually both get exhausted and head upstairs for some refreshments. Normally, I'd grab a soda, but my friend only had cranberry juice and water. So I just started chugging cranberry juice, which is wild because I find it disgusting. Like, even though I didn't like the taste, my body knew there was something in this that I desired. Fast forward to college, and your boy was taking a nutrition class where my teacher was like, sugar will fuck you worse than your pastor. I'm paraphrasing, but the gist was this stuff is really bad for you. So I decided to cut it out, but still crave something sweet. So what I did was transfer to Crystal Light, or basically fake sugar, and would slowly wean myself off of it by adding less and less to my drinks. Eventually getting me used to the taste of water without being disgusted. But even after this, I still didn't think I was addicted to sugar. That was until I came home from Thanksgiving break and went out to dinner with my mom. At dinner, I decided to have a huge glass of soda, and 4 hours later, I had a massive craving for it. So much so, I'm like, maybe I'll just drive to CVS to pick some up. Then I'm like, bro, what is wrong with me? It's 10 at night. Why do I feel compelled to get a soda right now? And this feeling lasted for days. Like I'd be passing by a 7-Eleven, like, what if I just stopped in real quick? No, you crackhead, stop it, stop it! This is the first of many occasions where my body would go through long stretches without sugar, eat or drink a ton of it, then go back to having withdrawals, which kind of put other addictions in perspective. Like I definitely used to make fun of alcoholics, like, oh, not drinking 12 shots of Jaeger must be so difficult. Please, tell me about your disease. But my insults were based on ignorance, because I don't have the addiction gene like many others do. Right now, I have pain and sleeping pills in my medicine cabinet, yet I don't have the desire to do them. Sure, they make me feel good, but like women getting laid, I just don't have the craving for it. So much in life is about luck. Like I'm sure LeBron James has worked super hard to get where he's at, but if he was born 150 years earlier, the only free throw he'd be shooting is cotton in his master's bag. So don't feel bad if sugar or other substances have a certain amount of control over your life. Because maybe you're surrounded by fast food, or maybe you have a slow metabolism, or maybe the only way you get hard is by smelling a Krispy Kreme. I don't know you or the struggles you go through. But if you need some help quitting sugar, I do got some tips for you. Tip number 1, hate yourself. When you love yourself, you start to let yourself go. That's why fat black women are so happy. And is that what you want? To love yourself? Ew. No. Self-loathing is the first step to having a fit physique. And the more disgusted you are, the less likely you are to eat that bag of Skittles. Tip number 2, learn how to read food labels. Starch, fruit juice, honey, and anything ending in "ose" is basically sugar in disguise. And don't be fooled by corporate buzzwords. Just because the package says vegan and gluten-free or natural doesn't mean it's good for you. And the biggest thing to look for is added sugar. That's basically a company saying, you don't want to make this yogurt taste better? Some crack. Tip number 3, go cold turkey. It's a lot easier to never do something than to do something in moderation. Think of eating healthy like getting a handy. If you're just getting handies, it's fine. But as soon as you get that one blowy or drink that one soda, it's off the rails. Like, this is great. Why would I ever go back to getting handies or not having sugar or whatever this analogy is about? The point is, if you never have something delicious, then you won't know what you're missing. Tip number 4, replace. Like I mentioned earlier, the way I weaned myself off soda was drinking Crystal Light. Now, that's not to say these fake sugars are good for you. It's like smoking and driving instead of drinking and driving. Sure, one is better, but that doesn't mean the other one's good. One issue I have with these fake sugars is how much sweeter they are than sugar. Aspartame is 200 times sweeter, and sucralose, or Splenda, is 600 times sweeter. This causes some people, like myself, to start to crave that sweet feeling. Like recently, I brought this drink called Body Armor Light. It's 20 calories, some vitamins, and almost no sugar. So I'm thinking, oh, this has got to be good for me. But after drinking one, my body 2 hours later is like, more. I want more. So these sugar alternatives may be good for some, but they're not for everyone. Tip number 5, seek help. Some people, especially guys, view asking for help as a sign of weakness. But really, it's a sign of maturity. It's using the tools and resources around you to help solve your problems. Because what works for you may not work for others. Like a friend of mine lost a ton of weight and credits me for insulting him as the main motivator. But calling someone chicken cutlet titties may not work for everyone. So it's best to seek out the guidance of a medical professional and come up with a plan that works best for you. Because sugar may not be your main issue. Like most addictions, it's about escaping your problems and turning to something that gives you comfort. So maybe sugar is just a coping mechanism for underlying trauma. Or maybe you just like the taste of bread. I don't know. But what I do know is heart disease is the #1 killer in America. And if you think life sucks now, imagine losing your parent to a preventable disease. Yeah, talk about a bad day. Or a great day if you're trying to get inheritance. The point is, if you care about your family, your loved ones, or yourself, then you should work on trying to curb your sugar addiction and live a healthier lifestyle. Woo! That video was a doozy. You know, I always get people being like, why don't you make longer YouTube videos? And I'm like, bro, you think animations are cheap? It's expensive. Plus, I like getting into the juice immediately. You ever watch a video that's like 10 ways to jerk off a banana, and you're like a minute and a half in the video, and they still haven't gotten to the first tip? Oh, really grinds my gears. So that's why I like making short little dopamine trips that are chock full of jokes and ignorance. But big changes are coming to the channel soon. Woo! Your boy's developing his own little offensive merch line, and I'm gonna start experimenting with some IRL videos. So we're gonna see your face? Well, you're gonna see my body, and my body is fucking nice. Tasty. You know why? Because I gave up sugar. That's right. Brought this puppy full circle. I got you some McDonald's, Dad. Oh, Billy, that was really sweet of you. Shh. Keep eating. You know what you want to do. Oh, you want to push that subscribe button. Oh, push the button. Push the button.